Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and in today's video we are going to be going over the top 17, I want to say. Sorry, I'm not looking at you guys, but I was not prepared to make this video. Yeah, top 17 best coupes for less than $5,000. You may be asking yourself, why 17? That's a weird random number, Mark. Why 17? Because I had 15 and then thought of two more and was like, I don't want to not include them, so there's 17. I was going to do them as honorable mentions, but that doesn't really make any sense because I also believe there is whenever I do honorable mentions, I always do 16, the one honorable mention, and then the rest of the list. And there was 2 extras this time, so I was like, you know what, whatever, we'll just do 17, no honorable mentions. So there's only 17. But yeah, it's just coupes. What do I consider as a coupe? Any car that is a 2-door, in my opinion, is a coupe. Some people consider it like a 2-door with 4 seats, like it has to have 4 seats or else it's not a coupe. I get that, you know, I understand the thought process behind that. I don't consider it that way though, okay? Song of the day is called Overtime by Zach Bryan. I feel like we've had nothing but rap songs so far for the song of the days, so we're changing it up a little bit and going with a Zach Bryan song. I love this guy. Most of you guys probably know who he is if you're a younger guy because he's like making the rounds right now. And I'm a basic boy, okay? I like his music as well. Sue me. It's a good song. It's a country song, so obviously if you don't like country music, don't listen to it. But if you do, give it a shot. Without further ado, let's get right into it with number 17. And number 17 is going to the Volvo C70 first generation. Also, if you seem to hear Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies music in the background, that's because I have it loaded on my Xbox, and I was like, you know what? I was gonna mute it to make the video, but it actually kind of makes some fire freaking background music, I feel like, so we're going to keep it there. Either way, the first gen C70 comes with a 2.4 liter inline 5, making 197 horsepower, and it is front wheel drive. One thing that you got to know about Volvos, these things are indestructible. They're tanks, they're reliable as hell, and they're safe as hell. Volvo has a really good safety rating. They're a great, incredible, like, first car, daily driver type of deal, while it also looks pretty good in my opinion. The first gen C70 looks mwah. 16th place, kind of sticking with the same underrated coupes here, because it's the Mitsubishi Eclipse GT 4th generation, or the 4G Eclipse, which is the newest Eclipse. Not really. Technically, the newest Eclipse is the Eclipse Cross, but we do not talk about that because it is a crime against car guys. Like, it's actually, like, Mitsubishi is like the Hitler for car guys. The car comes with a 3.8 liter V6, making 265 horsepower, and they are front wheel drive. Speaking of the really bad design choices, did you guys see that Acura is planning on bringing back the RSX and turning it into an EV SUV? Why are companies doing this? Why are they doing this? Either way, 4G Eclipse, yeah, it has a lot of good power. The way I look at it is, like, if you want an Eclipse to make power, you don't buy this one. You buy the 2G, or the 1G. You buy the first or second generation of the Eclipse. But if you want one that has power out of the gate, and you're not really looking to build it up or anything, this is a really good option for you. A lot of people don't like it for some reason, and I honestly don't really understand it. 15th place, we're sticking with the underrated coupes here because it's the Nissan Ultima coupe. People don't talk about these, man. They should talk about it more often. My best friend since 3rd grade has one of these. I went with him to look at it and helped him, like, pick it out, and he's loved every second of it. And it's a nice little car, man. It gets the job freaking done. The car comes with a 3.5 liter V6, making 270 horsepower, and it is front wheel drive. It also does come with an inline 4, and the inline 4 is most likely going to be even cheaper. So chances are you might be able to find one of those easier than you would be able to find this one. But if you're patient, you can find this one, which, if you do, it comes with a VQ35DE, which is the same motor that was in the 350Zs and G35s, and that's a good motor. It is unfortunately front wheel drive, where those cars are rear wheel drive, and it's not as sporty as those are, but it's still, you know, a pretty good combo. Coming in at 14th place, yet again another coupe that I believe is quite underrated, an Audi TT first generation. Everybody talks about, like, the new TTRSs, kind of, but even those ones I feel like are a little bit slept on, more slept on than they should be. But the first gen in particular is really being forgotten about. It comes with a 1.8 liter turbocharged inline 4, making 180 horsepower, and it is front wheel drive or all wheel drive. There are Quattro TTs, however, I will say the chances of you finding a Quattro all wheel drive Audi TT for less than 5K is probably pretty low, so you're most likely it's going to be front wheel drive, but that's fine. It's pretty much just a 2-door lighter Mark IV GTI. Do you like the Mark IV GTIs? Chances are you do, especially if you watch me, because I like the Mark IV GTIs. If you do like those, this is the same thing, and in my opinion looks slightly better. 13th place. 13th place, however, is going to the Honda Civic EG, or technically it's called like the EJ1, I want to say. It's not the EG, because the EG is the hatch but it's the 5th gen Honda Civic coupe version of it though, not hatchback, not sedan, the coupe one. The car comes with a 1.5 liter inline 4, making 95 horsepower, which is a blistering amount of horsepower, and it's front wheel drive. Hey, that is, people love the EG Civics, everybody does. I like the EJs better. I've said it before, I've said it with the 6th gens too. I like the EM1 coupes of the 6th generations better than the hatchbacks. I don't know what it is, I just like them. And I know that, you know, 95 horsepower out of the gate isn't anything crazy, but it is a Civic. You can easily get more power out of this, or if you don't want to stick with the D series that's in the car, you can always swap it with a B series, a K series for relatively cheap, and have a really, really fun little track car. It's lightweight. In my opinion, it looks better than the hatches. Coming in at 12th place, however, my friendo, is going to the wonderful Nissan 300ZX Z32. I have a feeling that within 2 years, it's going to be impossible to say that this car is under 5K. Like right now, it's already getting to the point where it's really hard to find a nice 300ZX under 5K. You really have to be patient. In 2 years, I don't think it will be possible to find a nice 300ZX under 5K. Car comes with a 3-liter V6, making 222 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. And for the people that are like, oh, well, a coupe is a 2-door with 4 seats. Well, this one covers you as well because they have a 2+2 and it has 4 seats in it, okay? So technically it fits your mold. Either way, obviously the Z32 is a gorgeous freaking car. In my opinion, one of the best looking JDM cars of all time. It looks absolutely fantastic, and performance-wise, it's not bad either. 222 horsepower is not bad. However, the only downside is the reliability, and working on this thing is kind of a nightmare. Barely missing out on the top 10, coming in at the number 11 spot, is going to the BMW 330 Ci E46. We've talked about this car probably 700 times at this point on this channel. Maybe 702. There's a good chance it's been 702. But for good reason, these things are freaking great cars, man. I love BMWs. Is that a crime for me to like BMWs? The car comes with a 3-liter inline 6, making 225 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. That's good horsepower in a car that also doesn't weigh that much. It's just overall just a really, really good option, in my opinion. Is a reliability gonna be slightly questionable? Of course. I mean, it's a BMW. Any German car is gonna be slightly questionable if you live in America, but it's not as bad as people like make it out to be on the internet. My friend had one and it was great. Speaking of unreliable cars, coming in at the number 10 spot is going to the Toyota Celica GT 7th generation. People say that this car is one of the best looking JDM cars of all time. I made a best looking JDM cars list, and somebody commented and was like, where's the 7th gen Celica GT? And it actually got a decent amount of likes. To people that say that, I just genuinely, I don't know what to say to you, man. The car comes with a 1.8 liter inline 4, making 180 horsepower, and it is front wheel drive. In terms of power and stuff like that, it's pretty freaking average, not gonna lie. In terms of looks, in my opinion, it's pretty average. It's just overall a relatively good, well-rounded little Toyota sports car. The only downside is, like I said, this car does apparently tend to have some major transmission issues, which can always be not that fun. The good part about that though, the caveat, I guess you could say, is that they're significantly cheaper than a lot of the cars we've talked about so far on this list. But for the people that say that it's one of the best JDM cars in terms of looks wise, again, what? Now this is one of the best looking JDM cars coming in at the number 9 spot is going to the Mitsubishi Eclipse GT 2G. Again, I mentioned it in my best looking JDM cars list, but I love the looks of the 2G Eclipse. It is absolutely gorgeous. Like, it is freaking beautiful. And in terms of performance, it's not that bad either. Wow, that was weird. Comes with a 2-liter inline 4, making 140 horsepower, and it is front wheel drive. 140 horsepower obviously doesn't sound like much, and realistically it isn't that much, but the car can make more power, especially if you boost it. The one thing I would recommend though is if you really do want one of these cars and you have the money to buy a Eclipse GT, just save your money a little bit more to get at least a GST, but preferably the GSX, because yes, it's a little bit more money, but it is going to be well worth it. Coming in at 8th place, however, it's obvious. I mean, I don't think there's been a Mark Roden list where I haven't included a Mazda Miata. It is the Mazda Miata NB. It is significantly it's just constantly going to make it on the Mark Roden list. It's going to make it on anybody's cheap cars list. If it doesn't make it on that person's cheap cars list, they probably don't know what they're talking about. This car comes with a 1.8 liter inline 4, making 135 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive. Obviously, again, 135 horsepower doesn't sound like much, but then you think of the size of an NB Miata and you realize, yeah, that's pretty significant. These are pretty much just slightly better versions of the NA in almost every single way. And right now, for some reason, they're actually cheaper than the NAs because everybody likes how the NAs look over the NBs. So, in my opinion, they're just a better option than the NAs. 7th place is going to Mark's guilty pleasure car. If you have been an avid viewer of the Mark Roden channel, then you know how much I love the Hyundai Genesis Coupe BK1. I like the BK1s better than the BK2s, sue me, but even if I did like the BK2s better, it's not really possible to find a BK2 under 5K, so you're kind of stuck with the BK1s. The car comes with a 2-liter turbo inline 4, making 210 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. That's not bad, but again, it is a turbocharged 4-cylinder. You can get more power out of that. It's not going to be as easy as getting power out of something like a freaking K series, B series, JZ motor or something like that, but it definitely can get more power, and on top of that, that's not really why you buy a Genesis Coupe anyways. You buy it because it looks good and it's a fun car out of the gate. This next car is actually the type of car that you would buy if you want to build it up. 6th place is going to the Acura RSX. Base model RSX, unfortunately, not the Type S, but it's still a good option, especially if you want to build up the car anyways. If you're going to build it up and change all the parts, it really doesn't matter. And the car comes with pretty much the same motor, a 2-liter inline 4 making 155 horsepower, and it is front-wheel drive. It is another K series, just doesn't have the best parts on it like the K series that's in the Type S. But again, it's a K series, so you can always just get more power out of it anyways. It's an RSX, man, and like I said before, they're building stupid SUV EV RSXs now, so these ones are going to grow up in value and everything too. So they're just good a car, man. I love them. This was the car I was going to buy before I bought my Integra. Coming in at 5th place is another Mark Roden special. I feel like another car that Mark Roden talks about every single day because he loves them. The Lexus SC300s. Specifically the 300s this time, because I feel like I talk about the 400s every time, and so I was like, yeah, let's change it up a little bit and go with the 300s. The car comes with a 3-liter inline 6 making 225 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. As we all know, that is a 2J. As we all know, it is not the GTE. So as we all know, no, it cannot reach 1000 horsepower on stock internals. Apparently the forums online are saying it can reach around 500 horsepower on stock internals, which is still pretty freaking good. Okay, like I'm just gonna put it out there, that's pretty good for the majority of people. Like, I know everybody thinks they want 1000 horsepower, but chances are you don't actually want 1000 horsepower. You just think it sounds cool. 500 horsepower would be more than enough, and the SC300 is a gorgeous car with really top-of-the-line technology for its time too, so it's not even that outdated. Coming in at 4th place is going to the wonderful Ford Mustang GT SN95. Obviously, I've mentioned plenty of times before on this channel the Crown Vic, but that's a sedan, so I can't talk about it today. And this is pretty much the same thing, but even more sporty with even more horsepower, so why not, I guess. The car comes with a 4.6-liter V8, making 260 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. It's crazy how it's kind of come full circle, where back in the day, people used to say, oh, the Crown Vic is the same thing as a Mustang GT SN95. And now I'm saying the opposite of that, and I'm saying the Mustang GT SN95 is the same as the Crown Vic, because like every car guy knows how good the Crown Vic is now. So that's an interesting little circle of life there. Either way though, this car is obviously incredible. It's more for the people that want to go fast in a straight line. However, it is the lightest and smallest wheelbase Mustang they ever produced, so it also can be a good track car, and people are kind of sleeping on that. 3rd position, however, is, I mean, did you really think I was going to make a list of 17 cars and only have one BMW? Do you not know who I am? There's a good chance you might not know who I am. Well, my name's Mark Roden, and I love BMWs. This car is a BMW 328i E36. The E36 is just truly tried and true, an incredible option, and I feel like these cars just do not raise in price. They just like stay the same price all the time, and I don't know why. The car comes with a 2.8-liter inline 6 making 190 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. People constantly say the E36 is probably the best project car that you can buy right about now, and I honestly agree. The chassis is absolutely incredible. Is the engine perfect? No, it obviously isn't the best engine in the world, but it's not a bad one either, and the car's just going to be so much fun straight out of the gate anyways, and it's cheap. But coming in at 2nd place, again, is not a Mark Roden list without a Honda within the top 3, because it's the Honda Accord 7th generation coupe. In my opinion, it's just a slightly better version than the RSX, and I know that's crazy to say, besides looks. I think the RSX looks significantly better than the 7th gen Accord, but I know it's wild to say, but honestly, hear me out, man. The car comes with a 2.4-liter inline 4, making 166 horsepower, and it is front-wheel drive. It also does come with a V6, so if you want the V6, you can get that as well, and it's not a bad V6. It's the J30, and the J30 is a great V6, but this inline 4 is a K series. Both engine options are incredible engine options. It's probably going to be cheaper and easier to find a good condition 7th generation Accord than it will be to find an RSX. And on top of that, it has all the same tuning potential because it's a K series again. It's just genuinely like just that good. But of course, my personal bias takes over yet again, because 1st place is the Nissan 350Z. As you guys know, your boy here owned a 350Z, owned past tense because I sold it and I hate myself for doing that, but owned a Nissan 350Z, and ever since I did, I have loved VQs, man. I've been a massive VQ fan, and you can call me stupid, a takeover kid, all you want. Listen, I understand the community tends to make us look bad, but God, if you are a dum-dum, you are a stupid boy if you believe that these are bad cars. The car comes with a 3.5 liter V6 making 287 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive. Now I'm going to say the obvious. Yes, it will be hard to find a 350Z that's actually worth the money for less than $5,000 in 2025, but it is possible. Every once in a while I log on Facebook Marketplace and I look around for a 350Z, and I'll find one after looking for like an hour that is probably worth it, as long as obviously you go look at it and it actually is worth it. It's possible to find these under 5K. Is it hard? Yeah. Is it going to be time consuming? Yeah. You have to be really patient. Yes. Is it a good idea for somebody that's doing it for the first time, trying to buy a car for the first time? No, obviously not. I would recommend knowing what you're going to look at before going to look at these cars, but it can still be done. And if you can find a decent 350Z for less than $5,000, I think it's just without a doubt the best coupe for less than 5K. And I'll say it, I'm going to say it right now, I think it's the best car for under 5K. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just ideas. Let me know what other videos you'd like to see in the comment section down below. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Oh, guys, guess what I did? I have a horrible sleep schedule, for those who don't know. Also, let me know if the background music was too loud or annoying or whatever it may be. I literally just have it on my TV, like right there. I would show you it, but I have a bunch of crap over there I don't want you to see. But it's literally right there in front of me, playing Black Ops Zombies music. So I was about to play Black Ops 1 Zombies, and I was like, wait, no, I need to make YouTube videos. What am I doing? And so I was just like, keep it on, have it be background noise. Big brain moment, am I right? But yeah, let me know if that sounds good. Also, random little tidbit of information. Guess what I did last night, guys? I have the worst sleep schedule known to mankind. If I were to tell you my sleep schedule, you would unsubscribe. You would be like, nope, I refuse to subscribe to a man with that sleep schedule. He is probably going to grow up to be Joseph Stalin with a sleep schedule like that. So what I did, I didn't want to be Joseph Stalin. So what I did was I took a melatonin gummy, a 5 milligram melatonin gummy last night. Dude, I felt like I was literally on, what's anesthesia? Like, I literally thought somebody gave me anesthesia. I was like reading, I read books now to try and put me to sleep, because I can't go to sleep, so I'm like, have to do stuff that bores me. So I was like, okay, let's read books because they're freaking boring. So I was reading a book, and I was like, okay, I'll take it now, read like maybe another like 30 minutes or whatever. And I took it. I read another like 30 minutes, and by the time I was like walking upstairs, dude, I felt like I was like 97 years old. I was really like climbing up the stairs. I thought I was dying. Not really. It was actually a really good feeling. I was just so tired, and I lay down in my bed, fell right asleep. It was amazing. So I'm going to do it from now on, and hopefully I can fix my sleep schedule. That'll be awesome. I woke up an hour earlier today, which doesn't sound like much, but you got to do it in little increments. You know, you got to do an hour a day, and that way you can set yourself. If you just do it all one go, it won't work. So you got to go doot, 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 doot. And that's what I'm doing. I'm doing an hour a day, and at work today, I'm freaking feeling great. I'm feeling amazing. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I know it was absolutely random, but I like to rant at the end of my videos. Anyways, das Vidania, and have a nice night.